Hello folks and welcome back to another video. So Dragon's Dogma 2 is here and I thought I would get down to my cringe accent for this one and to let you know what the hell is going on with the optimization of this game on PC. I was a bit late on this one because I did not get access to the PC version of this game at launch or before, but now thanks to one of my senior mates, I finally have it. Over the next few minutes, I'll tell you why Dragon's Dogma 2 doesn't care much about your graphics card really, and how much dollar you can throw at it in terms of a top-end PC. Once it decides to chug, it will chug no matter what. I will show you the game running on two massively different cards in terms of raw power, the RTX 3060 Ti and the RTX 4070 Super, with the same Ryzen 7 7700X CPU, which again is no slouch by itself. So let's first try and play the game on the RTX 3060 Ti. Of course, this is now considered a fairly low-end card in terms of its power, and I agree to that. Honestly, it can't go anywhere near 1440p, and RT is an afterthought on this one, and that's okay I guess. So as you can see, I'm playing at 1080p, and the graphics settings are pretty much maxed out. Except ray tracing of course. The game plays fine and gives quite nice performance numbers when we are in the wilds and only our pawns surrounding us. We are averaging above 60 FPS with mild drops during combat and some other scenarios. It's not smooth by any means of course, but it's completely playable. More importantly, we can see the GPU usage is always above 90%, which is reassuring as we know that at least the game is putting the GPU to proper work. The game still drops frames randomly and suddenly, but it's quite serviceable when you are in the wilds away from the town folks. But as soon as we start entering into the first big city of the game, Vermont, and the number of NPCs increases in the screen, the game starts to struggle. The GPU utilization starts going down gradually and then rapidly, and the frames are all over the place as you can see. As already pointed out by Capcom, the game is not doing a great job when there's a large number of NPCs on the screen. The GPU utilization drops and shoots randomly, so does the FPS numbers as you can see as you enter the town. At this point of time, the game becomes quite unplayable if you are not capping your frame rate to something like 30 FPS, which again is simply tragedy for a PC gamer. This is now extremely CPU bound, and the average FPS 1% and 0.1% lows are pathetic. Okay, so the RTX 3060 Ti is quite an old card now, and we really should not expect new current gen games to run great on this, right? Okay then, now let's move on to a much better graphics card, the RTX 4070 Super, which is vastly superior to the 3060 Ti. At first, let's start with 1080p maxed out without ray tracing. We will get to that part later. Again, out in the wilds, the game is running absolutely great. We are averaging around 70 to 80 FPS with some drops to 60s due to sudden CPU spikes. But generally, it's quite playable. We are walking around slaying goblins and the game seems like doing well for itself. Now let's turn on ray tracing. You would think the performance would drop by quite a margin, right? But what are we seeing here? The average FPS in fact has increased when compared to RT off. With RT on and in the same wilderness areas, the average FPS numbers are actually better now than ever, throwing every logic out of the window. Well, that's Dragon's Dogma 2 for you. Now let's go back to the town area where the real problem lies. Since now we are using a much superior GPU as compared to the RTX 3060 Ti, you would expect a significantly better performance, right? Right? Well, absolutely wrong. With the RTX 4070 Super at 1080p maxed out, inside the towns the CPU limitation is even more, and the GPU usage takes a massive nosedive. Hell, the game is not even using 50% of the RTX 4070 Super's capacity on average, and as a result, the FPS numbers are more pathetic than ever before. I finally saw some scores lower than my grades, lol. The game is simply optimized quite horribly in these town areas, as even if it is CPU bound, it's not even maxing out the CPU. Both the CPU and the GPU usage is hovering around somewhere between 40 to 60% at max. Remember, the Ryzen 7 7700X is no slouch and probably the second best gaming processor in the market just behind the Ryzen 7 7800X 3D. Let's run around a bit more to see if it improves. Okay, so 1080p on our RTX 4070 Super is bound to create bottlenecks, right? Okay, that's fine. Let's move on to 1440p then, shall we? Well, the resolution changes, but the story remains the same. Yes, we have managed to increase our GPU utilization by increasing the resolution, and we are getting better frame rates at 1440p than at 1080p, which again defies logic in any well-optimized game. But still, the game is nowhere near capable of maintaining a stable 60 frames per second. The frame drops are massive and the game is extremely unstable. Even 1440p cannot save the game from being cut down by CPU limitation. There is absolutely no excuse for a game to play this bad on a fairly high-end card like the RTX 4070 Super. Let's play around a bit more to see how it behaves further. So as you can see folks, Dragon's Dogma 2 does not really care about your GPU. It doesn't matter if you throw a fancy new shiny expensive GPU power at it. It will still stop, stutter and lag its way around the town areas and just be serviceable in the wilds. The game needs serious fixing in terms of the CPU utilization and the GPU optimization. Thankfully, Capcom has acknowledged this fact and assured they are working on a fix. But this is engine level problem, which will probably be quite a hard one to fix. So if your PCMR bros tell you to just buy a new RTX 4090 to play Dragon's Dogma 2, show him this video and tell him to shut the hell up. It will not matter what GPU you use until Capcom decides to optimize this monstrosity. So that's it folks, that's it for the video. For Dragon's Dogma 2 in this state, I don't think there is a point in checking out all the 5 different graphics cards I have, because as it's quite evident from the video, the game will bottleneck no matter what GPU you throw at it. So those videos will come once Capcom releases a fix. Hope you have enjoyed this one. If you found this video useful, please like the video and share it with your pals and subscribe to the channel. Stay safe and I'll catch you on the next one.